All right, much anticipated chance to sit down and open up some vlogs with my new opponent in our Central America game. Let's just say I wouldn't say the communists because we've been switching back and forth on sides, but last general got got Putined. Last general got uh, retired, early retirement or something. We got a new one on in here. And we're excited to get down into vlogs. My apologies to my opponent because I haven't had much time to play. So we need to open up logs and check out the weather for turn number 2. There you go. Now, the last weather was clear, so that'll have an impact. That's always a good die roll modifier. So that's the first thing I'm going to do here, sit down is get on with the weather, then find out what the communists have in store. There you go. It's kind of what you'd call a Tet offensive, where these insurgents have materialized in country. So far, they haven't been able to get any of the spots with the blocks on them yet. The key victory point hexes are the orange blocks. Gray blocks are supply sources. I always want to cut off those supplies. So there you go. We'll be back with a weather roll, our weather result. Alright, now for the weather roll, you have a die roll modifier, and it always helps if you have clear weather the last turn, so it was a -1. Our die roll on the vlog was a 4. So we'll get a 3 on the result. Ooh, 3. Number the next game turn. Oh, okay. So I think this gets into like a rainy season as you get on through here. I don't know how it goes on with this game that we're on right now, but I guess it's assumed you start at a certain time of year, but and as you get on, you get more of this heavy rain. So it was a -1 with a 3. We will stay with clear weather, which means all air operations. And that's mostly what that has to do with on the effect is the air operations. Although I could imagine getting through some of these trails might have a effect too. But so far everything's been clear. We will move the counter on game number 2. Game turn number 2 rather. Let's hit a clear result. Alright, next thing we're going to be doing is looking at supply for the Sandinistas, the communist players. We'll be back. Alright, well, supply is good for all my opponent's units except this little boy right here. Let me see what his problem is. Oh, I see. His nearest supply source is right here. He's got to get 4 hexes away from that. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, here's a zone of control around here. I have to remind my opponent though that units with just a 1 defense factor. If this unit here, bad camera work. If this unit here was by himself, he would exert a zone of control. You have to have at least 2 defense factors and a hex to exert a zone of control in this game. Luckily, I do. Hold on a second. All right, for a cough break, and yeah, he can't get no. If he can get 4 hexes, sorry about that camera work here. I'm looking at the board. If this boy here can get 4 hexes to a supply source without being in a zone of control, he'll be good. Or if he can get 4 hexes to a road, but these roads, 1, 2, 3, 4, won't make it. If he could have got to this road here, he'd have been fine. 1, 2, 3, 4. That might even be a trail. As you can see here, he is out of supply. That's the only one he's got marked in his vlog. We'll move on up next to the ground unit reorganize phase. And I don't believe he suffered any casualties or anything. And we haven't had any combats where he's had any casualties. I tried to reorganize one of my air units that suffered a couple losses in aerial counterinsurgency raid, and they're not allowed. So I think we'll be moving on that. Let me be right back. Check the vlogs. We'll see if we move on to the guerrilla attack phase. We'll be back. Alright, no guerrilla attacks by my opponent. And we will move over here now to the regular ground unit phase. Regular units are the units that are solid in color, the red units. And the insurgency units, like I said, had their white stripe. The Sandinistas are mostly a regular unit army. We'll find out what the vlog holds and what my opponent has up his sleeve. We'll be back for the Sandinista ground movement phase. Ground movement for the communist is done. And here you go. We'll start down here in the south. And you can see not much going on. An 8 unit turn sideways has been moved. So you can see here in this little spot. Oh, Bluefields. He has got ungarrisoned. And also, this unit here that was at El Bluff has used what's called river transport. You can use that to move from here to here on these little ports. So this unit right here is moved, and moved. You can see what they're doing. And there's really, looking at all the units on the board, not really much you can do. Kept all these garrisoned up. We got to keep it a little bit low, getting kind of late at night on the volume wise. But there you go. Move some unit up here, and this airfield was ungarrisoned. It's really not much of a movement, but we do see he's got something going on. We'll get ready next for the all-important insurgency movement. Alright, here's what we got for the communist insurgency movement phase. You can see they're moving on up. Looks like they got something going on here, but here we got a nice attack. They moved units off of this little defensive position, but I've looked at these units here and it's like a 5 defense factor. And in this game, that's really strong. We don't have many insurgency units, but they have moved around for some maybe offensive operations. Insurgency movement units sideways have moved. This unit here was right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, taking full advantage of his insurgency movement allowance. These units here, like I said, just moved out their little spot to absorb any attack against this one. I guess we were going here in the old special forces. Now the object of the communist is to just destroy Contra forces. So it looks like my opponent definitely has a grasp on that. And that is what he is doing. Well, like I said, units that move sideways have moved. And we are going to the insurgency placement. There'll be decisions to be made. I want to use aerial counterinsurgency against these placed units. I won't be able to use it against any units that are already on the board. Whoever replaces these, I got a decision to make. We'll be back. Alright then. The town of Sabaco is where the 2 communist insurgency units will attempt to organize. It is well within interception range, so if I wish to launch counterinsurgency missions, I'll have to deal with interceptors. There you go. He'll have to roll on the insurgency placement table to see how many insurgency command points he uses. And like I said, he ain't got many. So he's only got 6, 7 left, and I have 43. So there you go. Here's the 2 units there attempting to organize, and now we'll be going for the town of Sabaco. Try to back up his units. See, we got a nice little offensive coming up here. We'll be back. Alright, my mistake on placement. I didn't get my units right, but the code unit will be attempting to form here. In our own little Toro unit, will be attempting to help his ally who is getting surrounded. There you go. Add a Dyro modifier if we can get an insurgency unit in there. It's getting late. I don't know how much more I'll be able to do. But I might be calling this a video when we come back. Oh. More allied aerial counterinsurgency and so forth. Be back. Alright, quick correction before we call it a video. The unit that was out of supply here was able to trace a supply line through here to this. It's a combination of 4 hexes. He finally was able to trace a supply line here and run supply there. Me and my opponent went through that, and he was not out of supply. Just thought we'd throw that in. We're going to call it a quick video, and I'll be back.